Okay, everybody, it's now 11:45. We've started to eat a little bit. Pizzas are here. We'll get some more. And I'm meeting people that have read about us in the recorder. I met some people that saw it on Facebook. That's good. This is exciting to see the public here. I've got some kites we'll put together later. I got some gliders I've asked the kids to put together, so we'll see if they put together some gliders, and the fishing supplies over here, so we'll be doing that. But before we get more of our guests coming in that we know want to speak, I want to get going with the people we do have here, and make sure everyone gets at least some time in to sort of speak about things. I know that everyone's kind of got their plan and their vision in their candidacy and what they want to do, but I'm asking that our candidates kind of keep it to an elevator speech, about 5 minutes, and lay out what you want to do. And then as you move around, you can elaborate on it and talk more about what you'd like to see. And when Josie comes from Anthony Gonzalez's office or Matt Dolan, we'll give them a little more time to question and answers. So hold the question and answers sort of until we go back and make maybe a second round and we can get in a little bit more. But let everybody have a chance to speak before our main guests come here today. I just wanted to make one point. You often hear me talk about the issues in North Royalton. We talk about the roads and we talk about the flooding and the storm sewers and the vision for parks and for school systems and so forth. But I'm always interested in the youth. I'm always interested in the high schools. And that's kind of why this year, and I want to announce our convention of conservative clubs. We started that last year at the library. It was very successful. We overran it. We definitely didn't have enough room. So this year, we took the next step, and we've got 5,000 square feet, church on the rise. Separate podium room holds 150 chairs for our speakers. We already have a good list formulating. Justice Kennedy, Ohio Supreme Court Justice Kennedy, very much wants to be on board. And I say Michael Gibson, attorney here in Elkhart, Cleveland, wants to be speaking. We're formulating this list. I'm working with the Strongsville Republican Club, which is very good at getting speakers. And we're going to formulate a huge list and then narrow that down to the podium area. So that'll be our main area, and that'll be live streamed, just like we tried to do last year. But this year, I'm hoping to get it professionally live streamed, and so that'll be streamed. And we'll also be having this year high schools coming in, so we're going to work very hard. Ignatius was coming in. They had some kids that went on spring break, and they canceled out at the last minute, but they were going to have a table. But they're still, I talked to Rory, the advisor, he's still on board, so he'll be coming. And we'll hit all of those schools that have debate clubs. Now, what'll be fun about it is they won't be debating their clubs, so they won't get a chance to. I know some of the advisors told me they go do this regularly, debate on the school, but no, we're going to have them debate celebrities. So Judge Matt Lynch is on board to be debated against. Bob France will be there. Peter Kirstenau will be there to be debated against, and the students will pick the topic, and then Bob France and Judge Matt Lynch will have to take whatever side they don't like to take. So if they want to have everybody get out of jail who took marijuana, Judge Matt Lynch will have to argue why they should stay in jail. So they always have to take the opposite side. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be voted by the audience. It'll be mostly parents, but be voted on 3 things, and we'll average it. And if there's just a 1 point, couple point difference, I'm sure one school will get a chance to win. And it doesn't have to be schools. It could be really any group. And that's going to bring me to my next point here. As I go around and look for high school clubs, I see that very few public schools have clubs. Mostly private parochial schools do. North Royalton only has 3 clubs. We got the Key Club and the Student Government Club and one more club. Whereas you go to so many other schools, they got ski clubs and chess clubs and so many clubs. Strongsville has a Free Thinkers Club where they get to just talk about things. And it's so important for our kids to talk about things. That's what we do at the Republican Club. We basically are not really affiliated with the Republican Party. We're not sponsored. We're not endorsed. They don't handpick me as president. We pretty much do what we want to do. And I have yet to really talk to Rob Frost. I met him at the picnic. He said, "Oh yeah, we want to get a table there," but I don't really get orders from him or anything like that. In our bylaws, we can vote Democrat. Okay, that tells you we're a little bit. So we're mainly conservative, and we just like going over the issues. So that's what the convention is about, and we want our kids to kind of do that too, is to be able to talk about the issues. And at the convention will be a great way to do that. But I would like to see the candidates talk more about the social issues, about our kids. I could raise up some things, what's happening in the community. If you're aware, Medina just passed 5-2, the LGBT open bathrooms for girls and boys and things like that. So I won't get into all of the issues that are happening out there. I listen to radio at work. I'm a musical instrument buffer, so I work on my machine and I got my headphones on. I listen to radio all day long. I do newsletters, and when I get home, I subscribe to all these newsletters and things like that. I'm very good on Facebook, but I was also in Philosophy Club. Tri-C, I graduated 2014, 4 years in Tri-C Philosophy Club, and I got 2 awards for participating. But I got to see the honor students really go over Professor LaPalma and give him the work and try to win him over, and he was a tough cookie. In fact, I'd like Professor LaPalma to come to our convention and talk about source material and how to make an argument. But without saying too much more about that, but that to keep an eye on Convention of Conservative Clubs, March 28th, 2020, Church on the Rise. You'll be hearing more about that on our website. There will be web pages popping up, and there will be a list of speakers popping up. There will be a list of schools getting involved in the issues they'll be discussing. We've got some extra things. I think we'll have some museum exhibits. I think there's 3 places that will donate an exhibit. I think we've got 2 actors coming. I'm trying to think who they are. Patrick Henry, and Samuel Adams. Yes, I met Samuel Adams. Now, Samuel Adams, he'll be at the convention. Samuel Adams plays and knows the life of Samuel Adams. He'll only talk to you in the character of Samuel Adams, so he's truly a wonderful guy. And they're all coming down, volunteering their time. They're not charging. People do this just to try to help the students learn about history and so forth like that. So when we look at the issues for our election coming up in November, I'd like you to think about our children and the schools and trying to make something for them where they can actually learn to step out in the world and be comfortable speaking up like I'm speaking up and like a lot of us will today here. Now, to get us started, I think I'll just start off with Dawn. I know she wanted to leave a little bit earlier and make her presence known and get her word out, and then we'll just go down the line.
Thank you, Ron. Hi, my name is Jon Carbo McDonald. I'm running for Ward 5 Council here in the city of North Royalton. Excuse me. The reason why I'm running is to be the voice for the people. It's so important to be the liaison between City Hall and the residents of Ward 5. So important. And to listen, truly listen to our residents with open ears and open mind, and take that to City Hall and work with City Hall there. My name is Jon Carbo McDonald. I moved here about 6 years ago. I wasn't born and raised in North Royalton, but it's where I laid my roots now, 6 years ago. I met the man of my dreams, Michael, who is my husband, my cheerleader. He didn't want me to say that. But the main reason why I'm running is my brother, Jimmy. My brother Jimmy is council in Strongsville. To see what he does for the residents of Strongsville, taking our family values and using them and working with the residents, they trust him. He communicates with them. He has personal experience with them and taking their word and fighting for what they want. That is very important today. As your council, I plan to do the same. Be accessible to my residents. Communicate with my residents on a one-on-one basis. But most of all, truly and honestly listen for the better of the city and for the better of our residents. It broke my heart on July 5th to see the residents taking carpeting out of to the garbage because of all the flooding. It really breaks my heart to see this. These are hard-working residents that work so hard for their house. We need to come up with a better plan for this, a better plan. And as your council, we need to all come together, work together. It doesn't matter who you are. It matters about coming together for the better of the city, and that is me. I plan to be your cheerleader Because what does a cheerleader do? They have team spirit. They bring residents up, or they bring team players up and work with them and make them happy, even if they're losing and it's in a bad situation. What does a nurse do? A nurse has empathy, compassion, a true ear for the patients. That is what I am. I am a cheerleader and I'm a nurse. And I want to be your counsel for Ward 5. So November 5th, I will listen, and I will have compassion, and I will have empathy for my residents, because that is who I am. And that is the family values that I bring to the city. I am so very proud of my brother because of the relationship he has with his residents. He has taught me how to be that person in that aspect of being a good councilman. But it's truly the family values that we were taught to bring those to the city. And that is why the residents trust him. And he reaches out to them every time. Somebody needs something, he's there. And that is what I plan on doing, having direct contact with my residents where they can reach me 24 hours a day, and I will be there for them. But this flooding, and it wasn't even in my ward. My husband and I drove by it. I was devastated to see these families bringing out stuff from their homes because of the flooding. This should be taken care of. This should be our top priority. My heart goes out to these people because I know what it's like to work hard for your things. Once again, thank you for letting me speak here today. It is an honor to be at the Republican picnic. This is my first time being here, so thank you for asking me to come. But November 5th, I'm asking you, vote Jon Carbo McDonald. I promise to be a positive choice for a positive future, because moving forward, we need this. I'm not saying North Royalton is bad, not at all. These city leaders, they did an amazing job. But now it's moving forward with new voices, with new people. We need that because we are such a growing city. I don't want to see what Strongsville is. Strongsville's traffic, I don't want it here for North Royalton. I want the economic growth, but with our small businesses and growing it with them and promoting these small businesses. I just learned about Madeline Rose. I love it. Royalton Road Gift Shop. We have so many small businesses here on Royalton Road that are amazing. We need to promote within. Then you will see the flourish of everything. Then you will see the positive of everything. I can't begin to tell you how proud I would be to represent this city. I can't even begin to tell you how proud I would be to represent Ward 5. I am available. After I talk here, you come up to me, ask me any questions. I will do my best to answer. But I have a great liaison. I really have taught me a lot. John Nickel, for one, amazing. Anytime I had a question about anything, he answered it. And he told me what I have to do, and that's a great thing. To me, that's what we need to do with our neighboring cities, too. Strongsville, Broadview Heights, Independence. Why can't we as council reach out to these cities and work with them? Learn how they do things. Learn how maybe we don't want to do things. But reaching out to them and working with them, that's what it's about. We're team players here. Why can't we do that? My name is Jon Carbo McDonald, Ward 5. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dawn. Very good to hear from our candidates, and I want to go through our candidates first. I want to bring up our council candidates first, then we'll go to our I think our current council people, but I'm going to bring up Linda Bart. She's running for Ward 2, okay. And she was at our early Republican meeting introducing herself, and so welcome, and go ahead and tell us what you think about North Royalton.
Okay, my name's Linda Barrett. I am running for Ward 2 Council in North Royalton. I'm a 36-year resident, so I've been around a while. I'm a retired IRS agent. I'm up front with people about that, so if you're scared of the IRS, I'm sorry. I worked there, I survived. I actually got a call the other day. They're looking for paperwork that they hope I have. So, they're my friend forever, I guess. I ran because I noticed that my council person wasn't doing anything at all. And I used to reach out to him constantly, so I had to keep going to the mayor. And I thought to myself, wow, I think I can do a better job than that. So I decided to run. Little did I know how much work it was. But I've been walking, and I've been talking, and I've been learning from people. And there's some people that aren't very happy. There's some people that are happy. But like Dawn said, the stormwater issue, I have recently wondered whether we shouldn't consider putting a little hold on the building till we figure out what the problem is. I'm not against building. I think that there's an appropriate time or place, but the stormwater is a progressive thing. We've got hills, we've got streams, we need to figure this out, and now with NERDS involved, we need to give them time to work it through. I don't have any other platforms. I just want to be accessible. I want people to be able to call somebody and say, hey, give me a hand. And if I can give you a hand, I will. Now, on the other side of the coin, I'm going to tell you the honest to God truth. So if I don't have an answer you like, that might be the only answer you're going to get. I'm not going to lie. Linda Barath, thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Linda. I have another candidate who wants to leave early. And so we want to hear from them before they leave, and then we'll have more time for the rest of us to talk the rest of the day. So I'm going to bring up our candidate for mayor, Jon Nickel, running for mayor. I know you probably ran into him, or he ran into you. He's been on his little Segway, covering a lot of ground. So he's got a lot of stories to tell, I think. Welcome, Jon.
Thank you, Ron. Appreciate it. I'll kind of parlay off of what the couple other council candidates mentioned. Flooding is a problem in North Royalton. It is why I got involved back in '07. My neighborhood in the Hawley-Gregory area, we would get massive flooding. These people would get 2, 3, 4 feet in their basement. I would get 1 or 2 or 3 inches. I have a sump pump, and if it overloaded it, I would get in my basement. We've got to do better. We can't solve every problem. So if it's 5 inches of rain, if I tell you we're going to solve that, I'm a liar, and that's not true. And like Linda said, I'm going to tell you the truth, and sometimes that might be no. But I think we can do better. We had a time where we haven't had a lot of rain, but this July 5th reminded us that Mother Nature can just really wreak havoc. We have a lot of areas I think we can do more as a city. It takes money, and it's got to be legal, but we have a lot of streams that need to be addressed. We're paying this tax to the sewer district. It's not popular with a lot of people. You're probably paying $9 a quarter, $28 a quarter. Not popular. I want to make sure we're getting our portion, our projects back. With the flooding, it's not the only issue. When we as councilmen and these new people who will be taking the helm, you get a call from a 90-year-old woman during a rain. Says, Mr. Nickel, my house is flooding. What am I going to do? Send help. Please send help. And they want the service department or fire department to come. I mean, that breaks your heart. I can't stop the water coming up in her basement. But I did call her and check on her later and gave her some advice, call some family, get some family over there, and they got Serve Pro and cleaned it up. We need to do better on those situations. We're too known for the flooding. We need to work on that. Other thing, we need to work on roads. You see our Route 82 is getting done. We need to fix some other places on Route 82. Along our berms on Route 82, it looks terrible. You've got this mud, and it's not representative of a city like ours, that you're coming in and it's kind of like an old country dirt road. We need to do better with that. We do have developments. We have lots of houses. Because in Cuyahoga County, we're one of the last cities with Strongsville that has lots of property. And we're very desirable. People want to come, but we got to do responsible development. We can't stop them. By law, we could maybe stop them for 6 months, but you can't stop them. They can take you to court and sue you. But what we need to do is make sure we continue the good things we're doing now that the administration has done, and we'll keep those going on, but we got to make sure we have retention basins that are going to address these problems. So when you have a new development, you're not flooding people down. Other things, we just kind of want to work on the image of our city. We've kind of gotten a whole humdrum here. It's like we're kind of like, there's Broadview and there's Strongsville. It's like, how do you know you went through Royalton? Sometimes younger people, I work with a lot of younger people. I'm the IT director of the schools. How do you know you're coming through? Well, I think there's some things we can do to help beautify the city. Don't cost a lot of money. We can have some volunteer groups come in and do things to kind of upgrade the image of our city. But that's some of the things I'm working on. You can go to nickelformayor.com, look at my platform, and I thank you for having me.
Thank you, John. And as I was saying, if you want to talk to any of the candidates, I think my speakers are pretty loud. Everybody like my speakers? I made them when I was 18 years old in my mom's basement 50 years ago, and it actually been dragging around. That's the organ speaker to the left, and to the right, some car speakers I took out, and I knew they'd be good for something someday. So, and then my sister's amplifier that's been sitting in our basement forever, so it worked out really well. Right now, I'd like to bring up Anton Krieger, right? And you're running? You're running for city council. Very good.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. My name's Anton Krieger, running for Ward 1 City Council here in the city of North Royalton. My whole message is really based around trying to keep North Royalton a quiet, quaint community, trying to preserve the green space that all of the residents here really treasure. I would like to see North Royalton develop economically, but in a way that's responsible, in a way that's selective of the type of businesses here that we like in North Royalton. I don't want to see places like Dollar General. I want to see places like Whole Foods. I want to see upper scale businesses and small businesses hold up the city of North Royalton and make it a place that people are drawn to, make it a community and a homey feel. I'd like to reform a little bit of our planning commission, make sure that there are quantitative, measurable goals that we can be setting on our planning commission to make sure that we can leave X amount of green space or X amount of trees going on when we do build and work with developing economic areas. So I know that Ron talked a little bit about young people and the youth. I personally am one of those youth involved in the community. I'm involved in 5 different service organizations here in the community. I'm happy to say the Lions Club, Rotary Club, Historical Society, North Royalton Alumni Association, and Chamber of Commerce. I am a dedicated servant leader, and I am responsive and ambitious, and that's why I believe that I am qualified to represent Ward 1. And that's all I got for you. So thank you for the time, everybody. I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks.
So I got a great list here. Are there any other candidates for council positions running here? Oh, come on up. I've got a partial list of who is speaking here. Oh, Dan. Ovince, okay, right. You're running for Ward 5, right? Very good. All right.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a good day to have a picnic, right? Sun's out. So I'm running for Ward 5 City Council. I've been a resident here in North Royalton for a little over 18 years. Been involved pretty heavily with our schools. Been on the North Royalton Soccer Club board for about 10 years now. And just really enjoy being involved in our community, love our community, and want the best for our community. A couple of things that I really want to focus on. I think we need some stronger continuity of vision within our government. Just what North Royalton is going to look like for the future, and not going backwards, but continuing to move forward in a cohesive nature. So I think that's important. I think continuing to find grant money and dollars that don't cost the taxpayers money to continue to build out sidewalk infrastructure and connectivity within North Royalton is an area I want to focus on. And then largely just communication within our neighborhoods is an area that I want to really make sure we do in Ward 5 better. I've already started a newsletter within our community that several people have signed up for. Put out a July one, my August one's coming out this weekend. So those are the things that I'm really focused on. Just want to keep continuing to move North Royalton forward and really love this community, want to see the best for it. So, thank you.
Thank you, Vince. Is Dan Langshaw here? Dan? No? Knew it was going to be coming. Is anybody here running for council positions then? We got everybody? Come on up. Come on up. Oh.
Thank you, sir. My name is Paul Marachek. I'm going to have the shortest speech because I'm unopposed. I'm currently the Ward 4 member of council, and I am unopposed for president of council. I think many of you know me. I think this is the 6th year or so I've come to this, but I just want to take a moment. We all get to do great things. I had made a mental note if Nick Phillips was here to say nice things about Nick, but there's a lot of people behind the scenes that help us do this. I see Dawn has her spouse here. My wife has done a yeoman's task of manning the home fort while I'm out doing things. So I just wanted to, this stuff doesn't happen accidentally. There's a lot of people behind the scenes that allow us to go out and do these things. So if we could just take a moment, we're all here having a good time. I smell charcoal, which I feel is superior to gas when it comes to grilling. Just take a moment to thank those individuals. Also, there you go. Also, I have magnets. I'm going from a ward to citywide, so I would like to be accessible, be easy to find. Usually I show up, I usually have a bow tie or a hat or something on. I try and make myself visible. But if you'd like one, I'll leave them. You got a space? I'll leave them right here. And then I see another member of council has just showed up, bringing the first gentleman of Ward 3. Little gentleman. If I can bring up Dan Langshaw.
Well, I heard Paul in the parking lot saying he'd keep it short. I'll keep it even short too. I'm unopposed, but I'll be one of the second senior person on city council. So I see some candidates for council. And biggest thing, I just encourage people to vote. I want to thank the North Royalton Republican Club for doing this annual picnic. I think it's great to get people together, regardless of party, and just be able to picnic in the park. Which, if you guys plan the weather, great job. But most importantly, this year is a very pivotal year. We're going to have a big change on city council and mayor. And my little guy, Derek, here says, please make sure you go out and vote. That's the biggest thing that you can do. Yeah, he said, thank you. But make sure you vote. And as I see it, we've come a long ways as a city, but we still have a lot of work to be done. So if you're running, just the biggest thing is we want people that are to get stuff done. And we don't want divisiveness. We don't want to be like a Brick Park or other places. But I look forward to working with whoever else is on council, and I'm going to encourage you guys to vote, and thank you to the Republican Club. And I do have some magnets, and I'll pass them out later. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. And I hope to get this glider built for a little kid to fly it there. Before we get too further, is there anybody now running for council that hasn't spoken yet, or any council person here who hasn't spoken yet? Okay. Great. I'm going to get on to our mayor candidates, and we'll cover that. I'd like to introduce Barbara Ann Zendrowski running for mayor. We heard from John Nichol, and then we'll hear from Larry Anastevich.
Thank you. It's nice to see everyone here today on a beautiful afternoon. And before I get started, I have to thank my best friend, Jim Zendrowski, and he was the former police chief here and a council member, so we're very versed in the city. My ancestors owned all the farms in here. My grandfather was the first horse and wagon to bring the children to North Royalton School. Where the Broadview Town Hall sits, that's my grandfather's farm, and then bee halls are right down the street. So I'm a Weibel bee hall. So I'm born and raised here. My mother is, my grandparents are, so we have a lot of history. And I do believe in heritage and history in North Royalton and the Broadview Heights area. I'd just like to go on to say I'm running for mayor to try to change city government. I'm all about changing city government because we own a cottage in Huron, and we worked with the city manager as my husband and I were trustees on the homeowners association. In 3 years, we were able to completely change a situation there, working with the city manager through the state and the county. And I learned an awful lot. I realized Hudson has a city manager. My cousins live there, and they said incredible things have changed when they hired the city manager. And if everybody loves Hudson like I do, I'd love to see Hudson here. Huron, he just made millions the last couple of years with his economic development and what he is able to do as a city manager. So in that essence, the mayor relinquishes their salary. I would be giving up my salary, and my salary would be going towards the city manager. I would get a stipend, and then two, council has a voice as strong as the mayor does working with the city manager. The city manager then has to report to everybody. Nobody is ever left out of the loop, and communication is much more efficient in this manner. I can't say enough about city managers. I do have brochures, and this is from the International City County Management Association. I will leave them up here, and there's also my web page inside, and I have information there. You know, I've been on the school board for 8 years. I know how the schools operate. My husband worked in the city. We know all about the city. I don't think you could find a better candidate. And remember, I'm giving up my salary to hire on a professional who has the degrees in business, finance, their corporate experience. They're business people. I don't think you could find a better person to manipulate and get economic development going here and bringing revenue into the city and supporting the schools as well. Thank you so much. Barbara Zandrowski for mayor.
Very good, Barbara. Thank you very much. We're going to have Larry speak next, and then we have some special guests. We'd like to hear from Mayor Stefanik that's here. And after the mayor speaks, we're going to hear from Matt Dolan, which I guess is also here. So Larry, welcome aboard. We're going to hear from all the candidates first and their dreams about Elkhart, and then we're going to have the real officials come and tell us how it is, I guess. And I'm going to get this glider to some lucky kid.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I really wasn't sure what I wanted to say today, but I guess kind of after listening to different candidates, different speeches, and kind of what the theme is, maybe I'll try to address some of that. Because I continue to hear candidates that have been part of the administration as council people for the last 10, 11, 12 years and talking about what's wrong. Okay? I hear other candidates that haven't even stepped foot into City Hall in the 14 years that I've been involved, talking about changing the way things run. All I can tell you is that, yes, I've been the Ward 5 councilman for 6 years. I'm on my second 4-year term as president of council. I know that this city has grown. This city has came leaps and bounds from where it was. And when I hear people talk about taking care of stormwater and everything else, all I would say is, and the people that know me, you know, I carry a pair of yellow boots in my car most of the time. And it's not because I need them anymore, it's because I used to need them. And it's a reminder of what we used to go through. And I used to spend those Fridays and Saturdays when it was storming. I used to walk the creeks. Is the work get done? It's never going to be done. We have a city that's very hilly, very creek-oriented. We have 3 main creeks in this city, probably more than anyone in Cuyahoga County. We have the sewer district, I hear again. I'm going to get the sewer district to work. The sewer district has been working with us on all 3 of those creeks. We have many projects that have already been done and are in the process of being done. But I think you have to really be involved to know all of that. I also know where the problem areas are. I know what else we need to do. I know what else we need to work at, okay? That is the key. And I think the other key that people need to understand and hopefully realize, the mayor position this year is probably going to be more important than it ever has. And it's because you are going to have 5 new council people. And it's going to be 5 good people, but they're going to be brand new. And when you're brand new, I know what it was like when I was brand new. You know, there's a learning curve. Now, I was fortunate. When I got on council, I had 5 other experienced council people to help me learn, to help me grow, to help me do things. That's not going to be the case. You're going to have a new council president. Again, someone who has been on council but is new to the position. And I think it's going to be very important to have a mayor that is experienced, knows what the city issues are, has relationships with public officials, knows how to go out and get grants, knows how to continue to get money. I've also been the finance chairman for the last 7 years. I know how to budget. I will not raise your taxes. And anybody that says they need to do pet projects or anything else, I think they're way off base. We have enough money, you just have to know how to spend it. Obviously, I've got more. I don't want to keep you guys all day. We have other speakers. There are many, many issues. Be more than happy to address them. I'll also have a booth up at the home days. Please stop in, talk. I'd be glad to go over more of my plans for the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. My glider's doing very well. I built a good one finally after all these years. So next I want to hear from our mayor. Mayor Stefanik, I believe, is here. And I'd love for him to share some words. This wonderful pavilion and this beautiful day he made for us. And the pond that he stocked for us with the kids are catching big fish, I guess. Yeah. Or the last big fish. Or was it the last big fish? Are there more?
Oh yeah, plenty more.
Oh, plenty more. Okay, good.
Catch and release.
I have bamboo poles and worms for our kids as soon as I can string it. So we'll get some fishing poles out there.
Perfect. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mayor Bob Stefanik, and I'm running for retirement. Probably, from what I've heard from some people, it's probably the best job you can do. But it's kind of a bittersweet moment. I am going to miss being the mayor of North Royalton. I feel the last 12 years have been very productive. We've brought back records amount of grant money to our city. I'll be adding up those totals and releasing those for my State of the City coming up in September. Working with our other local elected officials, whether they're from the county or from the state. I'm kind of an unusual politician, I would say, because I don't vote the party, I vote the candidate. And by me doing that, I've been able to endorse some fantastic people, including Senator Matt Dolan, who I know is here somewhere today, Matt Patton, our state representative, Jim Renacci when he ran, and I also endorsed Sherrod Brown. And I don't, like I say, I don't pick a party. In local politics, you should be voting for the person. And that's why in this race, I'll also be endorsing what I think will be a great group of people, mixed up with males, females, Republicans, Democrats. But again, it's local politics. And that's important to remember. You have to work with one another. 15 years ago, 20 years ago, it was very contentious in North Royalton. I think the last 12 years have been pretty productive. We've been able to preserve over 300 acres of green space in the last 12 years. And I'll be putting out the exact information. It's over 300 acres. I heard somebody bring up Planning Commission. You have to understand how Planning Commission works before you want to change it. We recently had an incident where a Dollar Tree wanted to build a store in North Royalton. They had the proper zoning, the proper size of the lot, everything was good to go, so we could not say no to them. But what we did is we put certain stipulations on that plan where they had to come back and fit that building into the surrounding areas with a brick facade up front, a peaked roof, and so far we haven't heard back from them except for about a month ago where they said it was too expensive to build that. So they probably won't be building that. It's not official yet, but you have to give the people, the developers, their day in court. They have to come before us and present their plan, because if you don't do that, the people from Dollar Tree will sue the city and probably win, and you would probably get a Dollar Tree that looks like the ones over on Fulton and Clark. No offense to Fulton and Clark, I grew up around there. I know what it's like now, and it's not pretty. So that's what you get with experience. The group that's on City Council now, it's been very productive, I think. Currently, I sit on the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District, so I know how that runs. We've brought back probably more money than any other community that the sewer board covers, and we brought that back to North Royalton for a reason, because we needed it. And we're going to continue to work on it. We've already bought a couple homes over in Ward 2. We're looking at a couple more homes to buy. That there's constant flooding issues there, that not only those homes flood, but other homes downstream flood because of the bottleneck in that area. So you'll be hearing more about that later on this year. And again, in closing, I just want to say thank you for letting me serve the last 12 years. I know I've had some great support from Democrats, Republicans, all across the board. And I want to see that continue in North Royalton. Local politics doesn't have to be partisan. Let's vote for the best people, get them in office, let them hit the ground running, and continue the great things going on in North Royalton. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And truly, I go around town and I see him at the festival every year, the Green. I think the residents really do feel that Mayor has done a fantastic job and everyone appreciates the city we live in. Let's give him a good round of applause again and a good retirement and goodbye for our Mayor. Next, I'd like to bring up Matt Dolan. I know he spoke at our club, but let's hear what words of wisdom we can hear.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you to the Republican Club for once again putting on a great picnic and giving everybody a chance to meet their local and elected officials. So I'm just going to talk about two things, one briefly and one maybe a little bit longer. And that would be first, that the comments you've heard this morning from your local elected officials ring true to me as a state senator representing you in Columbus. And that this is a city that once the elections are over, does not look at whether you are a Democrat or a Republican. It looks at what's in the best interest of North Royalton. So on behalf of that, I have had a great working relationship with the mayor, but most importantly, he is an advocate for you in Columbus. I've had a great relationship with Larry. He is also an advocate. And I got a chance to get to know Dan Langshaw through my experience as a state senator. And I can tell you that he is a loud voice for you in Columbus. He takes time on his own dime to drive down to Columbus, to sit in our finance room where we run our state budget. And I'm fortunate enough to be the finance chair. And we'll sit there for hours for the opportunity to present you, on your behalf, what's happening in North Royalton and what North Royalton needs to continue its success. So Dan, thank you for your time to come and inform me, but also I want to make sure that the audience here knows that your council members, your mayor work on your behalf. And what is it that we're trying to do for you in Columbus? So I've had the opportunity now to serve. I'm in my third year. And when I ran, I talked about the broken relationship between local governments and state government. And that relationship manifests itself not just in the idea that in Columbus has been a little less we have not sent, you send your tax dollars down, and we, prior to a few years ago, we were really reluctant to send it back up. So you were investing, but you weren't getting a return. And one of the things that I wanted to do is restore that relationship in terms of the money flow so that you get more of your dollars that you give us through your state tax dollars back into the local government so that these fine people can invest in what you need. I'm happy to report that we made progress.